Hey guys, welcome out to another episode of Pod of War after our 2 week break, or our 2 week break? Let's go with 2 week break.
No, we missed one last week, so
Yeah,
only
so
one
that's
missed.
our 12-day break. I'm, of course, your host, EOF Gizmo, joined today, not in my Xbox hoodie for the first episode, by Chris Pengelly.
Hello, everyone.
And, of course, the pale one today, because apparently his camera is from MSN. It's Mr. Craig Warren.
We're back.
We're back. So, guys, how have you been? Have you had a good February so far?
Yeah, not too bad.
Nice.
It's been lovely, to be fair.
Lovely. It's just been working in it, boys. Getting ready for March, which is the month of Dave, as they say. So, as we do every week, we will start the show with a what have you been playing / pickups / fantasy critic pickups segment. We're going to start this week with Craig. So, Craig, what have you been playing?
So we're going to go for what we're playing first, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot because we've missed a week.
A week off, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, it's a lot. So I've finished. I've had to write it down as that much because I was like, I'm not going to remember all
the
this.
Craig notepad, the famous Craig notepad.
I've still got that somewhere. So I've actually finished the medium, which I think the last episode I had only
Just
put about an
started.
hour and a half into.
Yeah,
I was literally playing.
It was
before we
behind you,
recorded.
yeah, when you were.
Yeah. So I actually finished that off. I actually enjoyed that a lot, to be fair. I think that's actually a pretty underrated game. I think the story does. I think last time I think I literally just made it to the hotel area. I think the story starts off quite slow in there, and I was at times thinking, is this all this game is? You're just kind of wandering around this hotel, but it actually, it gets way more ambitious with that and starts to cover some pretty kind of brave out there plots that you don't really see in video games a lot. So fair play to it for that. I thought the puzzles in it were pretty good as well, to be fair. I thought they were quite simple, which is probably what it needed, because if you had complicated puzzles that slow you down for a long time, making that game any slower would have been, pretty disastrous. But yeah, it's a solid game. I think it's probably, of the two Looper games I've played, it's better by far compared to Blair Witch. Certainly more ambitious than Blair Witch was, and it does make me want to play their other next gen kind of releasey kind of thing they had come out, which is Observer. But that is definitely going to come to Game Pass at some point.
Too scary for me. Too scary.
Oh yeah, that looks way more scary than.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Layers of Fear might be on Game Pass, which is their older
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. But it's weird because actually, I played the medium, and it kind of the more it goes on, the less horror-y it gets.
Yeah, it's a kind of psychological thriller.
Yeah,
more than anything.
It's way more of a thriller as it goes on. I think there's one big jump scare when you're kind of looking through a hole.
Oh.
That definitely caught me out, to be fair.
I hate it when they do that. Hate it.
Yeah. You can actually, it's one of those where it's coming. It's like, this is so obvious, but it gets you anyway. But other than that, to be fair, it's not like, compared to something else I played this week, it is, it is nothing, which we will get to that.
There's a theme this week for Craig.
Yeah, it definitely is. So I finished that off. I then went and played the second Control DLC, which is the Alan Wake one.
Did you take Control?
I mean, that song, unfortunately, didn't play again, which is an absolute going. Although there is, in this DLC, there is a arcade machine.
Nice.
You can actually go back and play the missions from like the main game. And one of the missions you can replay is the Astral Maze, which is like the best mission ever. So yeah, that was fun going back and replaying that, to be fair. This is probably I'd say the weaker of the two DLCs for Control. I think the Foundation one, you can tell that the Foundation one's being the first one probably had more kind of time and kind of effort put into it, whereas this kind of just felt more of a continuation of the normal game, but we're going to throw in some Alan Wake stuff to kind of make it a little bit different. But it really didn't, it wasn't as out there as the first one. The side quests, for example, were nowhere near as good in this one as they were in the first one. So I mean, it's okay, it's more Control, which is, what anyone needs, really. It does have a new gun in it as well, actually, which is like a little grenade launcher thing. Although nice. I did find I probably killed myself more than anyone else with it most of the time, because I don't know, I just kept blowing myself up for some reason. So
couldn't help yourself.
That was the thing that happened. But yeah, it's decent. I think for the price I paid for it, I think it's like £4 or something like that, which is absolutely fine. So I finished that off. I then started Resident Evil 7, which was one of my backlog games, I think, from our first podcast we did.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So I played that. That is absolutely terrifying. Like that Resident Evil first person turns out scary as dicks. Like that had me, to be fair. I watched a lot of horror films. I played the odd horror game, but not a lot. But that was intense.
That's a
especially at the start.
Solid no from
yeah.
me.
Oh, this is the biggest not Dave game ever. 100%. I think you could probably, like, if you watched Ray play it, you'd probably be okay.
I've watched a
You're not in
playthrough of
control.
it. I have watched a playthrough of
Yeah.
it, but I couldn't play it.
But-
The people that play it in VR as well are just crazy people.
Madman. Absolute madman.
Just absolute. Well, again, we know that you're a psychopath, Chris. So that is no surprise.
But definitely, it's weird because you play it in first person. Obviously, your cone of vision is smaller than normally being in third person. And then you add into the fact that it's pitch black everywhere. So you're looking around with your little torchlight, which is, even less of the screen. And suddenly it's bloody scary, let's just say. But the actual game itself is really good. It probably has the best story from the Resident Evil games that I've played. I think that's probably the fourth one I've played.
That's a fascinating statement. That is a fascinating statement.
It's weird because it starts, you think it's just going to be like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of homage rip-off sort of thing, but actually the further it goes, the less it's that, and kind of becomes something else. And there's a really good twist, like 3/4 of the way through the game, which kind of
see, no one talks about the story. That's the thing. Like, because obviously I don't play those games, but like, no, I've never really heard anyone talk about the story other than the fact that it's terrifying.
The story is great. The characters, like the family you meet, are great, and it kind of, they all have their little areas of their estate that you like have to move around on.
Yeah.
And it the old video game trope where like the boss has this area of the map and you go to this area, and at the end of the area you fight the boss or whatever.
Yeah.
It does that, but it doesn't feel video gamey, if that makes sense. It feels more like a movie in the way it does it. So it does a really good job of that, to be fair. It's weird, although it was weird going back and playing this, because this obviously came out 2 years before Resident Evil 2 remake. Just 2017, I think.
Yeah.
So it's weird going back because there's a lot of like quality of life stuff that they did in Resident Evil 2 that obviously this doesn't have. So you're like, oh, it's really weird getting used to the fact that like on the map on Resident Evil 2, for example, once you've looted a room, it changes color. So I don't have to go back into this room and reloot it. You don't just end up going back into the same rooms over and over again. This doesn't have that. So it's weird going back and playing a game without the quality of life stuff. But you can kind of forgive it, seeing as it's like, 4 years old now.
And it's a Game Pass game.
Exactly,
well, which is the always added bonus.
But yeah, it's scary, but it's worth playing if you are into that sort of thing. I then played the free DLC for it, which is Not a Hero, which was actually
Chris, doesn't it?
Yes, it is. It's decent. It's only about 2 hours long. I think it took me. It's way more action focused as opposed to horror focused in the main game. It's nowhere near as kind of terrifying as the main game is, which is quite nice actually at the end of it, just to kind of chill out and run around with a shotgun and just murder things, as opposed to
cowering in the corner.
Yeah, cowering around the corner, seeing if I was going to get brutally murdered by something. So it's quite nice to feel like a OP kind of military guy for a bit. I did want to go and play more of the DLC, but it's weirdly still expensive. It's still like £23, I think, for the
wait for a sale
season pass.
It goes on sale regularly. It's one of those. That and all the Ubisoft games always go on sale. So
if that was like £12, I'd pick up, because I think there's 3 DLCs. I think they're all about 2 hours long.
And the End of Zoe one.
Yeah, exactly. But like £23 just seems too much.
I think it ties into the next game, doesn't it? This DLC.
Yeah. Well,
without spoiling it, Chris.
Village. It's. I was going to say what we've seen in Village. It does. We've seen Chris, and we've seen. Is her name Mia? And we've seen her in like trailers as well. So. I guess that's why it's called Village and not actually called 8, because it's a sequel to 7.
It's definitely.
It would make sense to call it 8 if it's a sequel to 7. But
they're trying to be funny because they don't want to have game companies are really afraid of having really big numbers because they think people need to play all the games before, and plus you don't want to be associated with Resident Evil 6. So you're just like, it didn't happen. New series.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will eventually go back and play that DLC. I really want to play it before Village, but it depends if it's
this time.
Drops
it'll
down
go on sale
cheap
before then.
enough.
Because what we're supposed to
Yeah,
be,
you'd
what
think
we're looking
so.
at May. Is it May, Chris, for Village?
Yeah.
So
May is actually quite a packed month.
it's getting there. It's getting there now.
Mass Effect, Legacy, whatever it's called. There's a few other bits and pieces.
Do you think you're going to play? So now that you've played a game like that, do you think something like Alien Isolation might tickle your fancy? Now it's because that's also on Game Pass. It's a similar game. It is a very similar game, but it's obviously in space with aliens.
It depends on time, in all honesty.
Yeah, it's quite long as well.
Nothing
Alien Isolation.
else.
I think Alien Isolation is like 15 hours or something stupid.
Yeah, it makes you like, again, that being first person makes you want to play Observer more because I think that's first person as well.
It is,
so
yeah.
I know they're different because it's probably not
I'm
combat.
sure that was on Game Pass, or they've just released like a newer version of it. Have they just
Yeah,
done
they
like a
did
collection?
They did the System Redux, which is
Right,
like
okay.
a next gen version.
Yeah.
Which I like. That's got to come to Game Pass because all the Blue Teams games seem to be coming to Game Pass.
Everything seems to on Xbox at the moment, right?
Yeah.
So.
And then
Nice.
the only other thing I've played, which Dave will be excited about, was I started Jedi Fallen Order.
Finally.
Yes, finally.
How far are you in?
I'm
You
not-
literally just done the intro.
So I've done the opening sequence in the
Which is one of the best opening sequences in games. by
I
the way.
literally
It's,
thought I played
such
that.
a good opening sequence.
And I was trying to think, could I think of a better opening sequence than that? I really
It is up
struggling.
there, and it gets better
It's
as
so
well.
good.
It's got some really
so I've
good
done that.
stuff later.
You go to the kind of the first world that you visit where you can like explore naturally.
Yeah. It's Forest Planet, right, I think. if memory serves
Yeah,
me.
I can't remember what it's called, but I did that. And now I'm on like the second planet.
Which planet did you go to second?
So I went for, is it Zephyr, I think it's called,
Yeah,
as
go for
opposed to
Zephyr.
Dathomir.
Yeah,
Because I
Dathomir,
assumed Dathomir is going to be harder.
So Daphomir's weird because you can you get to a point with Dathomir the first time you go, and you can get some cool upgrades early, but then you might as well go to Zephyr because I think Zephyr's much more. It's got one of my favourite dungeons in the game. It's the best
Nice.
description. It's a very puzzle heavy planet. I think that's fair to say, Chris, wouldn't you? But it's good.
Yeah.
Dathomir's way more combat-y, which is cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
and you're playing that in 60, I'm presuming. Like it's probably
Yes,
like,
so I'm on
looks
the performance
beautiful.
mode.
Yeah, so that game's so
It
good.
runs silky smooth.
Yeah,
to be
because
fair
it
to
did not run silky smooth when I played it on.
No, I
One
can
S.
imagine.
I think
No,
like
it was
30-ish.
okay on the One X when I played it.
So you've had a busy week, Craig, playing very good video
Basically
games.
2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks, yeah, playing some very good video games. Now, Chris is always a roll of the dice with if he's been playing very good video games. So, Chris, what have you been playing for the last 2 weeks?
I've pretty much just been playing Immortals Phoenix Rising.
All right, cool. Did you, the main game or the DLC? It was the DLC?
The main game. The
Main game,
DLC did come out, so I thought I'd better actually start this. I've not played the DLC yet. The DLC's out at the moment. It's the God DLC, which continues after the main story. It's the one I'm least interested in of like the 3 expansions coming.
Right.
One going to be set in China, and one's like a top-down, like Darksiders Genesis style that's coming. Those 2 I'm interested
Nice.
in. Yeah, played that. Really good. Sort of rips off Breath of the Wild. It has Assassin's Creed elements. Like, climb a big statue and you can see the rest of the map. That
It's funny that it takes the piss out of that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few bits and nods, so it takes like you said, of like other Ubisoft series it pokes at. Yeah. So that's pretty much all I've been playing, really. A bit of one of my pickups, but not much. Just thinking if I played anything else. Oh yeah, I played a really bad game for Easy 1000G called Caretaker, which
There
is
we go.
a horror
That's what we
game.
wanted to hear.
Which is
How long did that take?
it's 15 minutes
Ooh.
to finish it.
How much did it cost you?
I think it was £2.
£2, all right.
Easy 1000G.
No, I'm gonna live with two. I'm gonna live with £2 for 1,000, I guess, if that's what you desire.
Yeah,
I
so
think I saw you scored that like 1 out of 5 on True
yeah,
Achievement,
it's
something like that.
really, it is really bad. It's like I've played like easy platinum and easy 1000G games and that before, and they're okay and stuff. Like some of the Rat Leaker like 16-bit style games are actually not that bad.
Some of the Rally games are actually very good. It's just the problem is they front load all the trophies and achievements because they know that's what people want. But if you actually continue playing some of them, like they're actually quite good. They're quite fun little arcade games a lot of the time.
But this is just really bad. It's like a horror game. It's pitch black, little torch like Resident Evil 7, but it's just bad. It's like you can barely see, and the reason you barely see is how bad it looks. It's like we're gonna make this look as dark as possible, so no one can actually see the game and see like anything.
That's one way of hiding it.
Zero lighting. I love it.
Yeah, it's like it's not good.
Nice.
And that's basically all I've played, I think.
So before we talk about mine and before we talk about Fancy Craig, did you have any physical pickups this week, Chris? Because I know that Craig didn't, because Craig doesn't.
God,
so what have you had so far?
Right, Craig sort of mentioned Control, and I have picked up Control the Ultimate Edition.
Nice. That's like 25 now, right? Something like that.
No, I got this off eBay for £12.
It's not bad.
So
it's not bad.
Because you bought the DLC, was it £8? So it's like
something
couple
like
quid more.
I paid nothing for the Ultimate Edition, so I'll let you know.
Yeah. It's weirdly, I don't know if you can see, obviously it's just One and Xbox One. So it is a game that doesn't use smart delivery. So if you put this in, it wants to install both versions of the game.
Brilliant.
It does have two lots of achievements. So for like me, it's do I continue the Xbox One version, play the DLC like you did, Craig, or do you start the Series X version, obviously from scratch? I did start the Series X version. I'm not playing in performance. I'm playing in the 30 frame per second mode with the ray tracing, and it looks so good. It is like ridiculous.
I have seen the Digital Foundry stuff about the ray tracing in that game, and it is a very pretty ray trace game. There's a lot of
it's most
reflective
probably
stuff
one of the best looking. Well, not it is obviously a next gen, but not like
it's not purpose built.
Medium.
Yeah, it's not purpose
it's not purpose built, but it's like one of the best looking ones I've seen. So yeah, I got that for £12. So I'm actually go back through that at some point.
So with that one,
yeah,
if you want to transfer your saves
you can. They
so you can't
engine.
just play like the DLC on next gen version with your save from the first game.
The engine as well.
So shit.
Oh, that kind of sucks. Actually,
so bad.
I know it's got another achievement list, but that's kind of like I don't know if I'd want to. As much as I love Control, I don't know if I'd want to play the whole game again. Yeah, I know it's next gen and fancy. Yeah. Just to then play the DLC.
Especially with so much else available to play.
So that's the thing. I was looking at the DLC.
That's a weird decision.
And I didn't buy it when they went individually for £4 each. So the season pass does have a Game Pass discount, and that was like £11. And it's like, well, I can buy this for £1 more. So it's like, I might as well get this for a quid more. So that's what I got. And then the only other one I picked up was Little Nightmares 2.
Nice.
Which just say it's just Xbox thing, but the Series X version isn't out. It's just it's just Xbox One version at the moment. Obviously, I have an update. Finally, kind of annoying. It's actually come to Stadia as a part of the Pro game right at launch. If I knew that was happening, I actually wouldn't have picked this up.
But you want those Achievos, don't you? Really? You know it.
So yeah, I've done the first chapter of this, and I think it actually might be a prequel, not a sequel, from what I've got vibes from the first chapter. Still like Tim Burton-esque, sort of like puppet dark stuff. So that's what I'm mostly playing now. So when we get to next week, this will be what I've finished, and that's it really. That's all my pickups.
Nice. So we go to my pickups, Chida. So I kind of have to do my pickups first before we get to what I've bought, what I've been playing for obvious reasons. But before we get to that though, I finally platinumed Dirt 5. Like after we did finish the last episode, I sat there, I rubber banded my controller on a track that was a circle, and I got the 1,000 miles. I have the Dirt 5 Platinum on PS4. So I actually bought something before the last episode, but I didn't want to say it until it arrived. But in the meantime, while I was waiting, because I didn't know when it would turn up, I was playing my PS3. So I bought Motorstorm Pacific Rift for like 20p. It's a racing game, Craig, and it's really fun. Really fun. But the same team that made Dirt 5, that's probably why I bought it. And the only other game in this series I haven't played for also £1 is God of War Ascension, which I've played all the other God of Wars. I've never played God of War Ascension, so they are just games I bought to make myself feel better, obviously. Now, my main purchase was, of course, if you know by the title of the video, is the PlayStation 5. I've done it. I've got a PS5. It took 5 episodes for me to break and just to get one. But I've got one. And obviously, I'll talk about the console when we talk about the topic of the show. As for games I've been playing, so I've platinumed and 100%ed Astro's Playroom, which is one of the best platformers I've played in decades. It is so good. Like, it is just pure nostalgia. Even someone like Craig, who's pure Xbox, the nostalgia for PS1 and PS2 in that game is just amazing. It's just ridiculous. And if you have a PS5, it's a must-play. It's that simple. It's a must-play game. It is just a top quality. It's
free as well. So.
It's completely free. Even if you buy a second-hand PlayStation in 6 months' time, you can download it for free. So for like Chris, for example, who's played it before, you can go onto the app and save it to your library and stuff. And it's one of the best games I've played this year already. I've played a lot of good games this year already, so played that. I've been playing Destruction All Stars, which was one of the Plus games, and you know what? It's actually been growing on me quite a lot. So what Destruction All Stars is essentially Bleeding Edge cross Twisted Metal. It's like a multiplayer like car destruction game, and it's really fun. Like, it's really, really fun. Like, it shouldn't be, because it is literally, you're a character, you run around, you jump into a vehicle and you just smash the shit into each other, and it's just good. It's just really fun. It runs at 60, it looks great, the effects are really nice, the maps are pretty good, all of the stupid powers you get for, like, because you get a custom vehicle for each hero, so they're set up like Overwatch or whatever. They've all got different perks and different like powers they can do as a on foot character and as a vehicle, and it's just fun. And again, it was free, so would I have paid £70 for it? I definitely wouldn't have, but because it's free, it's installed on my console, I can hop in. It uses the new controller really well. Again, I will talk about the controller and all that good stuff when we get to.
So is that free to play now then, or is that?
No, it's PS Plus. So it's PS Plus for 3 months. Yeah, so
3 months out.
Yeah, so if you have a PlayStation 5, it's free to play. It's only a PlayStation 5 game anyway. So if you have a PlayStation 5, you have PlayStation Plus. I would be surprised if there is a single PS5 owner that doesn't have PS Plus. So it's essentially they need to make it free to play after PS Plus, because people ain't buying that.
Yeah, I can't see anyone paying £70 for it.
I think they have released it physically, haven't they, Chris? Or has that been delayed?
No, that got cancelled.
It got cancelled. Okay, so they'll definitely make that free to play, because that's what.
Because I had that pre-ordered with the PS5, and then it got just cancelled. Cool. And you go onto like Game and tap in Destruction All Stars to come up.
Cool. They need to just make it free to play just constantly, when everyone can buy
those sort of
PS5s.
games die if they're not free.
Well, as we know from Bleeding Edge, Craig, we really enjoyed
Yeah.
Bleeding Edge, and its biggest problem, although it was on Game Pass, it was that it wasn't free to play. So if you wanted to play it on Steam or PC or whatever, you had to have on Game Pass. So we enjoyed that game.
This is what I was talking about with going to fantasy credits a minute, like with the Back 4 Blood game. It's like, that's 60 quid. Like,
it's slightly different because it's
not really competitive.
It's
like
PvP
sort of thing.
Yeah, PvP needs to be free to play, because you need the player base. Whereas PvE, you only need 4 people. That's fine. You know what I mean? Like, you can get 4 people to play a game. I'm trying to think what else I played. So I've got Control Edition through PS Plus. It's installed on the console. I haven't played it yet. I'm trying to this year complete games, because I'm really bad for just buying games. So I was like, right, I'm going to 100% complete Astro before I play anything else. So I've done that. I have actually, and to join the theme that seems to be this week's theme, seems to be horror games, I played the Maiden demo. I played it at night with my 3D audio, and it's too scary for your boy. Beautiful game. And Village is going to be one of the games of the year. Well, my computer's shouting at me. It's going to be one of the games of the year, 100%. Like, it is. Runs well, that demo. It's grimy, but it looks amazing. Like, it really looks better than 7, like, dramatically so. And and the big woman's in it. She's scary and attractive at the same time. But they give you no weapons in that demo, and it's terrifying, Craig. The fact that you're completely powerless for that whole demo You're just like, oh.
That's how you start in RE7. You start off just helpless, basically.
From what I've seen 2 Let's Play of Maiden. Yeah, it looks obviously the kitchen. 7 had a demo as well. Like the kitchen is similar thing. Like you don't really get any weapons and stuff like that. It'd be interesting if there's any extra like unlockables and stuff, because I remember with kitchen you could get this dagger or something and like no one could figure out what it did. I don't know if they did in the end.
I feel like there's some like weird keys that you get that I haven't that I didn't find stuff
there's
for.
a necklace you can get in Maiden. Like I've seen like the things and no one's ever used the necklace for anything. It's like what's it for? Is it just a collectible, or is there something like more to it? And I suppose other stuff, if you could explore the map game before you get caught by one of the daughters.
Yeah, and it's obviously the voice actress for that character has died, so that's really sad.
Yeah,
she won't get to see her her biggest performance released, but really good on it. Like, I don't like those games, and I did enjoy myself. I actually own, because of Game Pass and the Plus collection, I actually own copies of 7, and I maybe it might be one of those that I might try and play maybe on like stream or something, like on like chat with Craig or something stupid like that. But maybe that'd be a Halloween episode, you never know. But yeah, I think Village is going to do some bits this year, and I can't remember which, I think I picked it up on the fantasy draft. Obviously we'll go into that next, but yeah that's going to be a good one. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No, go on, Pinky.
I was going to say, any other PS5 games?
So I'm resisting buying PS5 games at the moment. So it's my birthday in like 2 weeks. So I'm going to get... My girlfriend will buy me either Spider-Man or Sackboy. And then with any birthday gift cards or whatever I get, I will buy the other one. So that'll be my games until probably Ratchet and Clank, which I will buy, even though it's fucking overpriced. And we talked about this in our little group chat. It's £70 for just the standard edition. And I was like... It's one of the games that it's one of the games I bought the PS5 for, so I will buy it. But it is like
the biggest game that's going to suffer with that price is Returnal, I think.
I can't believe that's full price.
That's £70.
Yeah,
I can't believe it's full price, because I know Housemarque are a great developer, but it's a bit of a risk. I even think Ratchet and Clank isn't worth that, because it's not going to be a game like, I reckon you can, if the other games are to go by, you could 100% complete that game in like 30 hours. I think £70 is too. And I know we've had this discussion before, and we have differing views on money to time and all this. But when you look across the pond and you see that you can get, say, even something like the Medium for nothing, it's with your service. You're like £60. I don't think would have been a bad price for Ratchet. I think that's fair. But that extra tenner, it does sting a bit. But until then, yeah. So it'll probably be Sackboy and Miles Morales. I'm about to start Cyberpunk, because I'm interested to see how that runs, because obviously I've seen that the PS5 has a back compat boost, so it's like I'm even gonna play it, so it runs at like 60 and stuff. So I was either gonna play that or Ghost of Tsushima. I think I'm gonna, because I recently played Valhalla, I'm gonna wait a little bit longer for Tsushima. But I own it. I've had it for a while. I'm really looking forward to playing that. I'm trying to think. I've installed Concrete Genie and Bugsnax, so I think I'll probably play Bugsnax at some point. But
any other? You played any, like, obviously Dirt 5?
I did start Dirt 5 just to see what was different, and I don't really want to play it. I don't really want to platinum it again, because I've just platinumed it. But it's fun, and again, we'll talk about the controller when we get to the PS5 versus Xbox discussion. But it is a different game. But yeah, so that's really been me.
The Plus collection, because there's like 20 games.
Yeah, so there's 20. There is 20 games on the Plus collection, and I have played and or owned 17 of them. So there isn't anything on there. Like, obviously, it's the first Persona 5 instead of Persona 5 Royal, which I've just started, so I'm not going to play that. Black Ops 3 does not interest me at all, because I've heard the story for Black Ops 3 is one of the worst, and I can't even remember it. And I'm way too late for the multiplayer, so I'm not, I ain't touching it. And I'm trying to think what else. There's literally, because it's like The Last Guardian.
It's got God of War, for instance, on it.
Yeah, I mean, I've already played God of War. I've already played Days Gone.
Yeah, I was saying, obviously just had the free
it's
update
had the 60 patch, yeah.
4K 60 now. So.
Oh, you can go to those Valkyries, Dave.
Like, God of War is one of those games that say Ragnarok comes out in November, like maybe September, I'll I'll replay God of War just to see. Like, if there's nothing else that I want to buy, or if I'm content with what games I own, I'll be like, right, okay, maybe I'll replay God of War and see if I can knock out a few more trophies or whatever. Because, like I said, I'm trying to beat more games this year. and get like, and then I say beat them, not
just trying
get
to
to the
beat
end.
like trophy level.
I'm coming for you, Chris. I'm coming for you. I'm already 301. I think I've got something like 10 platinums in the last like 6 months. A couple of them have been pretty dirty Pengals platinums. I won't lie to you. There's a couple 99p platinums in there, but to get Dirt 5's platinum is like big for me. Get Astro's platinum is pretty big as well. So, like I said, I've got plenty of games to play, boys. Plenty of games. But yeah, that's the PS5 games. For Xbox, I've been playing No Man's Sky with some friends, which is actually really fun. Like I haven't played that game since we did a podcast on its launch day, Chris, like 4 years ago, and it was terrible. And I've been telling you for 6 months it was going to be terrible, and it was. But playing it now with friends, it's fun. It's really fun. I think at some point me and Craig are going to finish Crackdown, and then maybe move to Darksiders. And I'm trying to resist picking up the Borderlands 3 stuff that's on Xbox at the minute, because I have it on PS5. I'm just like, I hope that crossplay comes soon. Because all my friends that want to play Borderlands are on Xbox, so it's like
I see, and I got on.
You've got Stadia, yeah, because obviously
it's a decision that you made.
It was definitely a decision that Pengy made.
So crossplay would help a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing. If they were to turn around like next month and be like, it's coming to crossplay, then I'm like wicked, because I have the next gen upgrade on PS5. Craig could pick up the disc version on Xbox for like £7 or whatever it is now, so it would save us as much as I think the Ultimate Edition is £41 on the sale at the minute, which is both season passes and all that good stuff. But as we've discussed before, it's a lot of content.
One of the best kind of next gen upgrades as well.
Yeah, it's and if you look at the new content they're putting out, they've done a roguelike mode which looks really cool called Arms Race. So you basically start with nothing and you have to like get your gear as you go. There's some director's cut content coming this year, which is not just like improvements to the game, but also like commentary tracks and all that good stuff. So there's a lot of content in Borderlands 3 at this point, and it seems to be they want to keep going with it. So it could be a good long-term purchase, but like I said, I'm trying not to buy lots of new games because I just have so many games, and even on Game Pass there's probably 50 games that I want to play. You know what I mean? So still need to get those Master Chief Collection achievements as well. There's a new map, isn't there? I think that's come to Master Chief Collection from the online thing that got shut down in like China.
I know there was stuff. I know they did some stuff, and there's like new options for multiplayer and stuff like that. Yeah, because everyone thinks, because there's speculation. They did an interview, and then everyone's like, "Oh, it's coming to PS5 and it's coming to Switch." And I'm like, no, and it was just like actually just some new multiplayer options.
Yeah, they're still working on that game, which is cool, because obviously, I want to get excited for Halo Infinite again, because I was very excited before the delay, but I want to get excited for Halo Infinite again because Halo's great. But anyway, so that will transition us quickly into the fantasy draft. So just let me pull this up for the viewers. There we go. Our faces have disappeared. So we've had some movements. So let's have a look for Chris. As I believe since the last time we met, Chris. Excuse my cough. Was it Scarlet Nexus? Was that your first pickup, or was it Rune Factory 5?
Anything below Humankind.
Right, so Chris has picked up Scarlet Nexus, Rune Factory 5, Total War Warhammer 3, Next Gen Battlefield game, which is a catchy title, and Maquette?
Yeah, Maquette.
Maquette, okay. Any thoughts on any of those, Chris? Other than obviously Total War is the smart niche pick. Rune Factory 5 maybe.
I was so annoyed I didn't bid for that. That's the only pick that I've been like the whole time. I've been like, why didn't I think to just bid on that?
Yeah, Total War. They showed the trailer. It's coming this year. The last two both scored 86.
Yeah, it's guaranteed points. The Total War games are never bad.
It's a very smart pick.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that it's 86 basically. So Scarlet Nexus, they did a dev diary, and it's coming summer this year now, so that's sort of been dated, like roughly. So I don't know how well that actually would do. It's going to do better than 70. It's not going to be like awful. It's just that it's going to come this year. So get like, even if it gets like 80 or something, it's that's like 10 points.
It's points on the board.
Yeah, points on the board. So that's coming. Then you got. Can't even remember what else I picked up.
Rune Factory 5, which is a very niche game, and that will go one of two ways, because those games go one of two ways. It'll either be low 70s or like 90. Depends who reviews it.
Yeah, it's obviously the last one was on 3DS. I think there's been odd one on like Wii.
They
PS3.
ported the 3DS version to Switch, I believe.
Yeah, they found, but this is like the first like made for console version for a while. And obviously the popularity of like Animal Crossing. I know it's not slightly this. It's not quite
it's more
the same,
Harvest Moon, I suppose.
It's more Harvest Moon, but you got like you're like a weird police officer. You're not called police officer. I don't know what their like title is, sort of thing. But it's like going around your little island and stuff. So I got a feeling it could review, like you said, it could be one of those games that's either going to do really bad or like amazing, and sort of thing. So is that? Then I put that Mariquette, which is the
I've never heard of it. Never heard of it.
It's
an Annapurna game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an Annapurna game.
So that'll probably get 80 at least, right?
Yeah, the voice cast is Bryce Dallas Howard and some guy called Sean Gable or something. I've not heard of him, but obviously she was in Jurassic World and directed some like the Mandalorian episodes and stuff like that. They seem to be doing this quite often now, Annapurna, with like they've got like Daisy Ridley and like William Dafoe in 12 Minutes. So they seem to be like voice cast, so got that coming over as well. And then obviously Battlefield was announced in EA's finances will be coming this year. And,
I'm actually quite excited for Battlefield. If it's a modern warfare Battlefield like Battlefield 3 and 4, I am legitimately quite excited for Battlefield because I always prefer Battlefield to Call of Duty. So the problem with the last couple of Battlefields, they have been World War 1 and 2, and I was done with that 10 years ago. So if there is a new Battlefield and it's essentially a sequel to 4, and that'll get good points unless EA it basically.
Yes, when I saw EA was like, yeah, Battlefield's coming this year to like all their investors and stuff, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna pick that up because again, even if it's bad, it's still most really going to be like an 80-odd plus game, and sort of things.
I think Battlefield 1 was really high as well. I think Battlefield 1 was like 88 or something.
Battlefield 1 reviewed very highly, and it played well. I was bored of that style of World War. I just didn't want to play a World War 2 game, World War 1 game, sorry, at the time. And 5 struggled because they just didn't know what to do with it, from what I can remember. They had like modes that weren't in it, and it was like broken and all this kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, so I think that's all.
That is all of yours, Chrissy. So
and leaves me 2 spaces, but $70 still
leaves
left.
you 2 spaces with $70 to go. So, Craigo, I think we talked about Biomutant last time. I think we talked about Chris Tales last time.
No, it's anything below Biomutant.
So you've added
Chris Tales,
Guilty Gear Strive, and Axiom Verge 2.
Yes,
which is kind of annoying because I did bid on 2 of them. It's good. I didn't win them because obviously I would have had all my spaces taken. But
yeah, because you bid on, was it 6 games in 1 week or something like that? Yeah, I think I outbid you on 2 of them. So
yeah,
I was really surprised you didn't bid on Axiom Verge 2 as well.
I don't think it's coming out this year. That's why I haven't.
I know we've just seen it in the Epic Showcase.
He's a really good developer, but he's notorious for missing dates.
Yeah,
the first one missed many dates.
I bid like 11 on that, and I was like, Penguins will definitely be bidding on this, and then turned out no one had bid on it. So
if it comes out, it does well. If it comes out, it does very well. Because the first
one I had looked was 85.
Have you played the first one, Craig?
Oh God, no.
It's very good. It's like, although it's 2D art, it's probably a game you would quite enjoy because it's very similar to, say, maybe like Ori 2, but with like guns.
I think it looks hard. I think that's probably
I think I beat it on Vita, so it can't have been that hard if I was playing on Vita, to be honest. But yeah, good game. And Guilty Gear Strive is guaranteed points, though. You couldn't pick a game that you're less likely to play.
Oh no, that's where I think I said this to Chris before. That's where kind of the hype factor, a little bit kind of cheating, because I actually found that because I was looking for Chris Tales, and I saw it was like top of like the available games. I think it was just below like Gran Turismo 7 or something like that.
They've got a beta running the end of this month, and there's been sort of like trailers showing off the characters. And there seemed to be a lot of hype around it, and there's not been a Guilty Gear game for a while. And they did Grand Blue Fantasy last year, and that reviewed very well. So
it looks very niche and very kind of reviewer darling sort of game. So I think I bid like $2 on it, and I think Chris must have bid $1.
Yeah, because I didn't think anyone would think about it. I thought no one's going to think about games.
I never would have. like unless I saw it on the, it's because I saw it on the hype meter and it had a release date. I was like, oh okay, I'll have a look at it, see what it is, and I saw what it is. I was like, an anime fighting game. That's
Points
that's going to review well no matter what. So yeah, I picked that up, and then Chris Tales was like, it's like I think it's being developed like in Colombia or something like that. And
yeah,
it's like a
Colombian
turn-based 2D RPG.
Yeah, it's well, obviously it's not Japanese, but it is a JRPG. It's a homage to like Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, and stuff like that. But it's made in Colombia. I guess like one of these things now, like you see on Kickstarter, they grew up playing like those games on like the SNES and stuff, and now they're making like a JRPG, even though they're Colombian. So yeah, I did bid on that. I can't remember. I think I bid like 5, so you must have won it. Like
I think I bid 5, but I think it kind of takes into account who bids first and stuff like that.
Takes into account your priority as well, because yours is probably a higher priority than Chris's, because Chris probably bid on 20 games.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was quite a safe, because that's a review darling sort of thing. And
coming like June or July. So
yeah, I think they didn't announce the exact date, but they announced the month it was coming. So that's what made me bid on that.
Nice.
And that leaves me 3 slots, and I think I've got the least money. I've got 74.
Yeah. I can tell you.
It's just still a lot for 3 games.
Yeah, you've got 74, and you've got 3 slots. So we move on to me, obviously the Dave. I've obviously just bought a PlayStation 5, so I went straight in and picked 3 PlayStation 5 games. So I picked up Stray, which is a game where you play as a cat, Craig, in a robot world.
Yeah, it's Annapurna again.
It is Annapurna, so that's guaranteed points if it comes out. Final Fantasy 16, I'm more and more believing it's going to come out this year.
I got a weird feeling it will come out this year.
I've been against it because it's Final Fantasy and they tend to push, but they seem to have a lot done already. And the fact they've got English voice acting in the trailers and stuff is like usually a sign that it's pretty much ready to go. So, and I think because it's the least Final Fantasy of the Final Fantasy games, it's going to review very, very well. I think it's one of those that the Dark Souls crowd might pick up. So I think it's going to review well. So if that comes out this year, I think that's good points. And obviously I went for God of War Ragnarok, more really to take it off of Chris's table in case it does come out this year than anything else. I think I bid like £1 on it or £5 on it or something. $5, sorry. But yeah, I think if God of War comes out this year, it's points. So I'll take the risk. Most of my list is I'm going to take a risk and hope for the best, to be honest with you.
Yeah, when we look at your list like that, Forza Horizon 5, which isn't even like announced, Final Fantasy, if these all come out, they're like, there's 3 90+ games there, the bonus points, blah blah blah. But if those 3 don't come out, it's like
oh yeah, like I've got to. So you guys,
Horizon 5 you can drop, because I don't think any of us counted it.
No, so I could drop that if I wanted to.
So you can potentially drop that if that gets announced.
If we get to like the end of the year and that's going, but obviously as well, because obviously we've had some games come out. Obviously you guys are both on 12 points from Cyber Shadow and Little Nightmares, and I'm on 5 from Medium. So we'll see. I think the next game, it tells me up here, is the next game to come out is Bravely Default 2, which is I've counterpicked. So if it reviews 90, I'm in big trouble. I'm in big trouble.
I think Chris has the next 3 actually coming out.
He does, yeah. Maquette, Loop Hero, and
I've got
Bravely
quite
Default.
a few.
It Takes Two, which I actually saw some gameplay of very recently, and I think that's going to do well. So I think Chris is going to lose some points on the counter pick for that. And then it's just a march of Craig getting points, because Monster Hunter Rise, Kena Bridge of Spirits, and Guilty Gear Strive will all get good points.
Kena still technically hasn't got a date.
No, I think it might get delayed again, but
it says March on here, but
it's due in the next month.
Yeah, because Sony put out a video at like CES, and it had like that dated, something else dated for like June. It wasn't Ratchet, I can't remember. It was like another game like similar size to Kenya, and there's a few other like games like that, but none of them's actually been haven't actually been dated. So
the game looks cute though, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll play that on my PlayStation 5. Right. Yeah. So that's all our pickups. That is 44 minutes of what we've been playing and picking up. So
yeah,
love it. It's getting stronger every. This is what happens when we take a week off. Yeah. So the topic of the show, boys and girls.
Be less games played next week.
Less games played there. Well, maybe. I think I'm working less, so there might be I'll be able to play some more games. But Craig won't be beating 4 games this week or whatever it was.
Definitely not.
So the topic of the show, boys, as you could see by the thumbnail, or wherever it is on YouTube now, is our first impressions of the first 3 months of us having next-gen consoles. So I've gone clickbait and it's called PlayStation 5 versus Xbox, but this is not really what it is. It's just comparing what we've played so far. So I'll go through quickly. Craig has a Series X. Pengy has a Series X and had a PS5 for all of 20 minutes. And I've got a Series S and a PS5 because I have no self-restraint whatsoever. Okay. So I suppose we'll start off with me talking about the PS5 because obviously that's the one. None of us have talked about the PS5 really, and our first impressions. And my first impressions is it's the biggest leap of all the consoles because I hated the PS4. I've had a good 6 years with it. It's gone now. It's been sold. A friend has it, and the actual console and the UI was so bad compared to the Xbox. Whereas with the PS5 so far, I actually think that's swapped. I actually think the PS5 does a lot of stuff better than the Xbox, which I couldn't believe as I was using it. So simple things like even the store is all system level in the UI, in the main UI. So you haven't got to go into an app, you haven't got to click into anything, you just tab and there is the store, the listings in the store, all that good stuff, which Xbox needs to copy. Because even as quick as the Series X and S are, it's still a bit of a ball ache to go from, right, I've got to click on store, then I've got to scroll down to something else. It's literally one click on PlayStation 5, which is cool. I'm glad they've done that. And the media apps is the biggest fix. And on the PS4, you had to go onto video and TV and video. You had to wait for it to load. Then you had to pick YouTube, wait for it to load. It was awful. This, again, it's just a media, click, boom, I'm in. Good. Fantastic. Game library, exactly the same. I haven't got to fucking go into an app. Click. Perfect. Wonderful. Great job, PlayStation. The one thing they haven't improved is trophies, weirdly. It's an extra like 3 steps to get to your trophies. So if they could fix that, because on Xbox it is Xbox button, achievements, wicked, done. That's good.
Yeah, they really need to do it if when you press like the PlayStation button.
It just needs to have trophies at the bottom. Yeah.
There needs to be a picture of trophy. You click it, it brings up your trophies.
So for Craig, what they've done is they've essentially copied what so on Xbox you press the Xbox button once, it brings up like a quick menu on the left. Yeah. The PS5 now does that along the bottom. It didn't before. It would take you to the main menu on the PS4, whereas there's just a quick like bar at the bottom to get to the stuff you need to get to like friends lists, and it's got like it's got tracking achievements now, which is the thing. The biggest thing for me, as I've just done the Dirt 5 trophy, is there is now trophy tracking finally on PlayStation. It's been on Xbox for the whole generation that's been, but it's glad for them to catch up. So from that aspect, I think the PS5 is a big improvement of the PS4. The biggest improvement is the controller. It's a different level compared to the DualShock 4. The DualShock 4, as I've said on many shows and many videos that we've done, is one of my least favourite controllers. It's just, the battery life's terrible. It's kind of clicky and plasticky and horrible. I've never really liked the DualShock. I never have.
It felt cheap to me.
It did.
It felt like I literally
you could twist it, and if you've got one at home, you can twist it and it creaks, and it's it's not a bad controller. It's just compared to the Xbox controller, compared to the Switch controller, even compared to the Stadia controller, it just wasn't as good for me. The DualSense is a different beast. The DualSense is, if the sticks were placed like an Xbox controller, it would be the best controller without a country mile. It's very close to the Series S and X controller for me. The features, the triggers, they need that on Xbox. They are a different level, and to play a game like Dirt, where the controller physically resists and it shakes and stuff, and it's very different to the triggers that we have on Xbox. I naively thought they would be similar. It's not. It's a different level. The fact that in Destruction All Stars, when your car stalls, it struggles. You can't start your car. It like goes hard and you can't press it down. All stuff like that.
With like Deathloop, they said when you run out of ammo or something, you're not going to be able to pull the trigger or something like that.
Yeah, and even like the bow in Astro, it has like real tension and stuff, and it's really impressive when you do it. And again, like next time I'm able to see you, Craig, you can try it and you can see what I'm talking about, because it's kind of hard to explain. But
yeah, that's the thing.
It's the biggest improvement. 100%. This is the thing that PlayStation have done the best. This controller is a lot better than the DualShock. It's the most Xbox feeling. It's a bit bigger. The battery's a lot better. The buttons feel nice and clicky. It's good shit. Like I'm looking forward to playing games with this controller. It's cool. Still love my Series S controller. The blue one I've got is wonderful. Again, they improved what didn't need improving. The Xbox has always been the most comfortable controller, especially for racing games, especially for shooters. So I'm glad that now both controllers, I haven't got to think this controller's shit. I can just play the game. It's great. So that's cool. Obviously, I'll flip this
on
over.
The controller, obviously, like, we're going back to like the medium, for instance. There's a few bits where you're outside and it's like raining, and the controller's like going like absolute like nuts. Like if that was like on the dual sets, you could have like little the haptic
which
feedback.
Is what Astro does. Astro does that really
Yeah.
well in the rain level. And like I said, Xbox need to. I think they've already said they want to copy it. Like they need this, the next.
They put
like,
a poll out, didn't they?
Yeah, the Elite Series 3 needs to have it. It needs to have it, and that's, I'm not just saying, like, and I'm saying that as someone I've always been on both sides. I've never been like a PlayStation fanboy or an Xbox fanboy or whatever. Like, they need to copy that, because I think, like you said, games like Forza Horizon with this controller would be incredible. You know what I mean? Like, because it's already good for the vibration that the Xbox controller's had since the Xbox One. But if you chuck in the extra level of quality of, like, it's basically like the HD Rumble on the Switch. Like, if you've got all of that as well, I think Forza Horizon in particular would be a much, better game. You think like Halo, when you do like an armor lock, if like the controller like locked and stuff like that, there's ideas they could do from a development standpoint. So I do hope that does carry over to Xbox. One thing before I move over to Chris in a second, that the Xbox does better than the PlayStation on the other side is continuity is the biggest thing. So I know how to use the Xbox dashboard very quickly because it's the same as the Xbox One, and that's not a bad thing. It was good anyway, Obviously, I think quick resume is still better than the switcher options we have on PS5 at the moment.
On quick resume, I know you said you had problems with Immortals with your save. I had problems with Immortals with quick resume. Like it would start and like the map wouldn't show, and your infantry wouldn't show, and like the HUD and stuff wouldn't show in the game. So you'd like have to quit out and then do it back.
I imagine that's
sounds like
game problem.
It sounds like it's a Ubisoft problem
because of their weird Connect thing they're using.
Yeah, looking at their forums on their like help desks, it seems like a lot of the problems to do with their Ubisoft Connect in their store and quick resume.
Yeah, and obviously
like
the problem is everyone.
I never had an issue with.
The problem is as well. All of the games that have come to next gen have been Ubisoft games because they're the only people putting games out. So you know what I mean? Like, I imagine if you did it on the medium, it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, it would be fine. It was an odd one.
Yeah, and obviously the one thing I didn't talk about the PS5, quiet. Have you ever heard my PS4? You'll know this is the biggest improvement for me. Very quiet. Also massive. Can't emphasize enough how big the PS5 is. It is fucking hilarious how big it is. Like, again, I can't really move my camera to show you, but it is. I've got a 50-inch TV, and it's kind of peeking out to the side on my entertainment, and it is 3/4 of the way up on this TV, Craig.
Size comparison compared to your S.
Oh, I mean, yeah, like I've got my S is smaller than a sheet of A4 paper, and it's quiet and dead and sits there lovingly with a bit of space either side of it. The PS5 is just a hulking monolith, and it's just it's ready for power at all times. But it works. It's quiet. The disk drive's pretty loud, but I think all the disk drives are pretty loud. I haven't used a disc in a while.
I was going to say, installing these Series X really noisy.
Yeah, the PS5 disc tray is loud. I will say it's very loud. It's louder, probably louder than the PS4 actually. Weirdly, it might just be because the rest of the console's so quiet, so you just don't expect it, and then it fires up, and you're like, Jesus Christ, and then it's dead silence again. You're like, okay. Obviously, that's where my Series S will always win because I never have to put a disc in it because I can't if I want to. So yeah, I was trying to think if there's anything else I can compare really to the two consoles before I switch it over to you guys. Obviously, games is games. Games is just subjective. I haven't played the same game on any of them, so I couldn't tell you if one game plays better. And I don't have a 4K setup, so for me, everything's running at 60 1080p or whatever. Like that's what I want. So I'm happy enough with that setup. But yeah, it's all about convenience again. I think both consoles are. I mean, what I will say is both consoles are good. It's not like last time where I got my PS4 and I was like, I don't like lots of this. Like, both consoles are good. I think if you're getting a new console, you're going to be happy because they're both good consoles. There's no, and like I said, I've got the underpowered Xbox, and I'm saying it's like, yeah, they have a couple of issues with memory. I think both consoles have that issue. there isn't enough. But like, whatever. So let's move it over to.
That's one of the issues with the PS5 because you can't expand the memory.
You can't. I think you get like, I forgot, like 600.
I think it's a terabyte, isn't it?
No,
no,
it's 825, which is 668 or something usable.
Oh,
so it's not great at the moment. But obviously, again, I haven't got 600. I don't play Call of Duty, so I haven't got 120 gigs installed on my PS5. Again, for me, it's never been a problem because I don't play so many games that I need to. The problem will be if, say, probably more for my Series S, is if I want to keep Apex and Halo Master Chief Collection installed and Gears 5 installed. That doesn't give me much room for anything else. Whereas, generally speaking, I don't play as much multiplayer on PlayStation anyway. So, like, say, Destruction All Stars is 22 gig. So that's nothing. It's not going to affect it. I think, actually, the Share Factory, when I installed it, was more. It was like 24 gig. That piece of software to do the streaming and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so let's move over to Craig next, and then we'll move over to Chris, because Chris is the only other person that's played both. So Craig, how are you feeling about your Xbox in comparison to your One X so far after 3 months of using it?
So I think, like you said, the continuity of it all is pretty much the same. Like the controller is
similar,
pretty much the same, just a little bit smaller.
One button.
Although it's actually, I suppose, if you compare it to the one at the Xbox One launch controller, which was awful.
Yeah.
I guess if you compare it to that, it's a million times better. But as they kind of updated it as it went on, it's not that much further away than what you would have been using on your One X or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the apps and that, like you said, are pretty much exactly the same. I think the issue they have, like you say, with you have to load into an app to do everything, because I think they're trying to be probably too kind of fancy. I think that's why it takes so long. I think they're going for the kind of Brave kind of just looks good as opposed to functional.
Mm-hmm.
Which should probably, I think, I would definitely prefer functional, but I guess there's probably some marketing reason behind it. Like, if we make the store look good and we have big icons and trailers playing and all that, then people are more likely to buy it or something like that. Yeah. So I assume that's why they choose to do that. I think it's stuff like load times are just so much kind of so far away from what we were used to. As I was talking about Resident Evil 7 earlier, I was watching a stream of someone play it on, I'm guessing, the Xbox One. I don't know if it's One X or whatever. And there was times when I didn't even realize it was a load screen playing on my Xbox One X. My Series X, sorry, God, the names are awful, aren't they? And you watch it on the last gen, you're like, oh, that's actually like a 45-second load screen. For me, that was like 3 seconds, and I didn't even notice it. So, kind of, you see stuff like that, you kind of realize the leap that the new gen is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably the main thing I'd probably say about it is the little stuff like that. Even playing Forza Horizon 4, because we played a lot of that just before this console
We
launched.
certainly did.
And then I carried on playing quite a bit of it on this gen as well, and the leap was actually a lot more than I thought it was. Me,
yeah, I remember we were playing.
I was tormenting you guys.
Issues loading in, and we played Gears of War, and I was still on my One X, and you were dead before I loaded in, before come in and revive you, and it's ridiculous.
I think that's the main thing. It's stuff like that where if this was your first gen of gaming, you wouldn't even notice it, I guess. But when you've actually compare it, you see the difference like that. You really understand how much better these consoles probably are than last gen.
Do you think that the Xbox, in particular, is very much needing a showcase game?
I don't know, because there's the old killer app is the thing.
Yeah,
Xbox needs a killer app. That's the headline everywhere seems to put. I think they're probably bailed out by, I guess, Ubisoft and third party. In fact, that there was enough third party games at launch to kind of cover up the big AAA exclusive, because that's what everyone means when they say killer app, isn't it? That's what they want.
And I don't think PlayStation has that either. To be fair, at the moment, I think that comes with Ratchet and Clank. But
I think the closest you get is Demons, and then that's
that's so niche.
Yeah, so it's another Dark Souls. Yeah, it's a remake, isn't it, as well? So it's very niche.
It's one of those. If you love those sorts of games, you will love that. If you're indifferent to it, like probably us three,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's doesn't really mean anything, does it?
No, and obviously the thing is you can't get the consoles, so the argument of needing a killer app right now is actually not a thing because you literally can't get one. Even if you wanted one, you can't get one.
Obviously, they wanted one. Like Microsoft obviously wanted one, and Halo Infinite.
Yeah,
343 dropped the ball on that. And I guess, you know, we haven't had a lot announced this year for their AAA.
Again, for either, I don't think enough has been. I feel like we should have had a presentation for both of them by now, like a 10-minute.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is what's coming in the next 6 months. You know,
I 100% think we're going to get that once the Bethesda deal goes through for Microsoft.
Which
definitely.
Is very soon, right? It's like the next couple of weeks, because then they're doing the whole thing with the Vault. I don't know if you've read about that.
Yeah, they're going to be merged, Bethesda's and Cinemax and that.
Yeah, so I mean, we're interested. Obviously, all we want to hear is that announcement about exclusivity, just to stop all the clickbait fucking videos I have to watch.
It's just.
So it's not even exclusivity; it's the Game Pass, isn't it? That's once they announced that all of that's coming to Game Pass straight away.
Yeah, like I don't think it.
Who really cares about exclusivity?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you have a PS5 and you want to pay £70 for Starfield, go ahead. Yeah, Microsoft's going to get the money. If you play on Xbox, you play it through Game Pass.
Yeah.
I see that as like a bit of like a Netflix sort of thing. Stranger Things is on Netflix, but you want to buy it on Blu-ray, you can go on Amazon and buy it, sort of thing. You know.
Yeah, I think
Netflix still gets the money.
I think it was going to be interesting just to have that discussion go on, because I'm bored of it now. But But yeah, I think you're right. I think the biggest thing this gen so far is load times. Like, it's the biggest difference. Like you said, for games that we've been playing before, you notice the difference. Like, you know, and I'm like, say when Mass Effect Legendary Edition comes out and you play it, because it's already going to be improved anyway. You play it on next gen and you're only in an elevator for 10 seconds as opposed to 1 minute 45 like you were in the 360. It's going to be pretty crazy. But I suppose let's move on to Chrissy before we get an overall discussion. Because obviously, Chris, you're in the unique position where you've got a Series X and you briefly had a PS5, and I know your PS5 experience has not been great. But how do you feel about how the two consoles have come out of the gate?
Yeah, on like PS5, there was, like I said, positive. Like the DualSense was like, when I could play my PS5, like I only played like 20 minutes of Astro Bot. It's like, oh, this is amazing. You can feel sliding around on the ice and that, and then like Miles, you know, using the triggers to shoot you like your webs and stuff. It's like, yeah, this is amazing. Really like the UI. Like, it felt new, it felt different, it felt next gen, which obviously is positive and a negative. Like, I obviously had issues with my PS5. You've seen quite a few YouTube videos and chat of issues. PS5 panties already starting to drift on the controller, a bit like the Joy-Cons and that. It feels, because it's new, stuff's going wrong with it and stuff like that. Where I look at the Xbox Series X, dashboard's like the same, the controller's pretty much the same. You've got the new share button, same library. Again, it's a positive negative. Like, it's all my Xbox stuff. It's continue. It sort of feels like I've upgraded my phone or like a graphics card in a PC. It's like I'm playing Control again, but Control now looks, that's still not best, but looks even, you know, Control looks even better, or it runs better. Like, again, I've never been like a PC gamer, but I can imagine it's like I've bought a 3070 or something. I'm still using my Steam library, but now I've got ray tracing enabled on Cyberpunk, where I didn't on my 2060. So it feels like that sort of thing, and especially with like Game Pass, here's like 200 games like right away. But, you know, I know on that PlayStation you got the trophies, like the achievements and stuff like that. So it's an odd one. I like that they're both doing something different. That was like, especially like going back even further, like the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. They all did exactly the same. Like, you know, I like they're all doing something different. Sony's approaches. Here's a big game every 3 months or whatever. I know it's £70. That's a lot of money. You're gonna have the new cool features with the DualSense, blah blah blah. And Xbox, it's like you do your subscription. We did was it episode or two ago? Like we talked about like Xbox did a list of like 31 games coming to Game Pass or coming to Xbox.
Yeah,
it's shit. It's like, here's a ton of content coming, so that sort of thing. You know, some of it's going to be good, some of it's going to be bad, some of it's going to be timed, whatever. But you got all this content coming. You know, like, it's why have both. Like, why I think the Series S is a good console is, well, for like a second, you've got a PS5. There's all this Game Pass content coming. It's 250 quid for like a Series S, and that's at the moment. You're down the line, going to be like cheaper. You're going to be able to get them and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it's like one of the generations where you could have both, and obviously Nintendo do Nintendo stuff. So,
yeah, I think this is the first generation that I can really remember where there isn't a clear, this one's massively better than the other one in some regard. Like, you know what I mean? That's like, even if we go back to last gen, the PS4 was objectively better than the Xbox One and objectively better than the Wii U, just in terms of the games and the sales and all that kind of stuff. And you look at, say, our favorite generation that we like comparing is the PS2 generation. There was 4 very different consoles, and they all had strengths and weaknesses, but they were much more pronounced than now. Like, I think if you have a Series X or if you have a PS5, you're pretty happy, and they're pretty similar experiences. So, like, one's got a slightly better controller, the other one is much better for content in terms of smart delivery, in terms of cross-play, in terms of services. You know what I mean? Like, Xbox Live is still better than PSN, no matter what they do, you know? So yeah, I think that's really the crux of this conversation, is that they're both good. It's
not a bad choice, is there?
No,
at the moment. If you
trying to get one, that's the choice.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
I mean, if you want a games console, you can take either of the 3 consoles on the market, the big ones, and you're gonna have a good machine for a fairly reasonable price. You know,
I think the only
that's probably
bad
why
choice...
things like the Stadia have, not taken off, because they're so competitive. The
who's
free
it for? You know, that's Stadia's big. It's always going to be Stadia's problem at the moment, and I think we will do a cloud conversation at some point, because I do want to talk about it. But I think the only negative choice I think people could make is the digital PlayStation.
Oh yeah, that's not good.
Because I think you will really struggle to get the financial, because it's only able to like less than £100 cheaper than the disc version. I think you will run that out within a game purchase.
2 games basically.
Yeah, because you won't. Yeah. You're never going to be able to use that cheap PS4 library. And that's the biggest thing I'm really benefiting now, because obviously I've always had issues with my PS4 being so loud, whereas I've got a plethora of PS4 games that have now been updated for free that I can play, and it's like I've got a new game. Like Ghost of Tsushima, for me, going from a base PS4 at just about 30 1080p just about, to now being crisp 1080p 60 frames a second, like that kind of game that's like reflex parries and stuff. Like, it's a different game for me now. If you haven't played Days Gone, I know Chris has played it 8 times and never got very far, but like, if you haven't played that and you get to play that in 60 frames and all that kind of stuff, it's such a boost. Control is the one that Control and Jedi Fallen Order are games that we've talked about in the past. It's performance issues were always there. Those performance issues are gone. You know, and as we're seeing with Cyberpunk, if you're trying to play, like Pete's playing, I want to do a Cyberpunk spoiler cast at some point, because I really want to talk to Pete about how his experience on 1S has been, because every time I watch a video of 1S footage, it's at 14 to 18 frames a second, whereas on PS5 I can play it in 60.
Yeah, I never had, like I said, never had an issue.
And again, you played it on Series X, didn't you?
Yeah. Like I said, if I didn't know about it and someone just gone, here's Cyberpunk for Christmas or something, I'd be none the wiser that it was as bad as it was.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
But if you played it on a base PS4 and it was 12 frames a second and it was crashing, you'd be like...
Yeah. The biggest issue really so far with this new gen is possibly games. As in, obviously we talked about Control, Fallen Order, obviously 5. There's not been any, like, the Medium has been like the first big new game. Obviously, I had like Demon's Souls and mine was on PS5, but go back to like Xbox One and PS4, we had Titanfall quite quick.
That was March, I think, for both of those.
It's and then like going to like fantasy, like Critic is like quite a lot of smaller games we picked up for like the first couple a month. Like Resident Evil is mostly like the first big game, and that's getting on PS4 and Xbox One, and that's like May.
I think COVID's the problem, though, isn't it? I think if you take COVID away, you would have got Far Cry by now, you would have got Halo by now, you probably would have got Prince of Persia by now. Even stuff that's been delayed out, like Hogwarts, is probably further along would have been further closer to the thing. I think Ratchet and Clank would have been February. Personally, I think the way they were positioned, the way that
that launch window,
you saw a lot of content of that game when they announced the PS5. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like that would have been, again, I'm happy to wait till June. I'm looking forward to playing it in June, but like, I think you would have got.
But then again, we're going back. Both consoles sell out as soon as they come available. So
you literally can't
Xbox
get them?
Didn't need a killer app. No, it's selling out. So
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest positive. I think console gaming is very strong now. I think both consoles will outsell their previous consoles in the end. I genuinely do. I think the Xbox.
I don't know. I was going to say I don't know if PS5 outsells.
I think it will. I think it will. If they're able to make them, I think people will buy them. I think the Series S.
Gaming's such a big industry now.
It's huge. It goes up every year.
There's so much money to be made now that you look at the amount of good games that come out every year now compared to I don't know, like 10, 15 years ago. It's crazy. There's just endless good games coming out now.
Yeah, I mean, we used to be able to play every game. Like when we were when I was at uni and college and stuff, I could buy every big game and enjoy myself, and I'd still have time. You know what I mean? Whereas like now, it's like if you include the indie games and the stuff that comes to Game Pass, and for someone like Craig who hasn't played Yakuza, hasn't played Final Fantasy, hasn't played Dragon Quest, hasn't played Mass Effect, hasn't played Resident Evil 7. All these games are coming to Game Pass, or coming new to platforms. So like Xbox is getting all these games it's never had before. Like, well, Craig is not going to miss the fact that there isn't a game in the next 2 months. Like, if Craig wanted to try something new, you've got plenty of choices. You know what I mean? You've got plenty of choices. So it's I think that's the thing. And I think if people have bought the new consoles, they're just happy with them because they've got them and the load times are better. And like, if I never play a PS5 game, but my PS4 games are all better, they all load better, they all look better, it's quiet, like I'm happy. You know what I mean? As weird as that sounds, like I think that's just where we are.
You can see where they're both going as well. You can see PlayStation announce those like 4 or 5 big exclusives that are coming this year or potentially next year. So if you have PlayStation and you're invested, that's coming. Same with Xbox, that Game Pass, you can see the studios they have, you can see the games they've got coming. So I think if you have one, you kind of that all the problems that we have at the moment with games getting delayed and that, sooner or later all these games are going to start hitting, and that problem's
I think by Christmas we'll be laughing. I mean, there'll be too many games to play by Christmas.
There'll be too many games, but that's going to be the fair thing in there. It's like, oh yeah, we're all done, and like October and November is like 50 games or something.
And you got to think as well, like, and I've
it's going to happen to other industries like cinema, all the films that got delayed.
What's left of the cinema? Yeah, I think the streaming services are the ones that are going to benefit from that the most.
But it's like, James Bond's been delayed again, and next minute it's coming out the same day as Black Widow or something. Like,
yeah. Whereas I think the big winner, I think this gen is going to be the Series S. I think the Series S is going to be that Trojan horse for a lot of people, especially because as someone who's been using it, it's a wonderful, wonderful machine for the price that it cost. It is a very, very powerful, very, very capable machine. So I think as soon as they can make enough of those, and you've got people picking them up to play, like I know people, I've literally got friends that picked them up to play Football Manager.
Yeah,
that's the big exclusive.
Yeah, I know people who have never bought a video games console before and have now bought an Xbox Series S.
And I know
just because they're so cheap, basically.
From like other Discord groups and that, like one's Nintendo centric. Seeing people in there like pretty much only play Nintendo are like looking at Series S because of the price. It's like I said, 250 quid to subscribe to Game Pass is
done.
Like 200 games.
Look, 200 I don't see myself buying a full price game on Xbox, maybe ever again, because I just don't need to. Like, I can wait on a sale. You know what I mean? Like, all of their exclusive games will come to Game Pass. If there's a big third party game that I really want, I can just buy it on PS5. If there's if there's a physical game that I want, I can just buy it on PS5. If I don't like it, I can sell it. You know what I mean? So this is, I think, for me personally, it's because of the very privileged setup that I now have. I genuinely can't see me going, you know what, I'm going to drop 80 quid on an Xbox game, unless it's like a multiplayer game that like 4 of you are like, right, Dave, we're all getting Borderlands 4. We're all getting on Xbox. It's not crossplay. Like, okay, and that's the thing. When you add crossplay in as well, if say the next Battlefield comes out and it's crossplay like Call of Duty, brilliant. I'll buy it on PS5, and then we can play together on PC or Xbox or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, just doesn't matter. Like, you can have whatever, you can tailor your experience to what you like. Like Craig never has to buy a PlayStation. He doesn't need to have a 6 month of madness like he did last time and buy a PS5, play it to death. He doesn't need to, because at the end of the day, you might get to a point where you go, actually, I quite like to play God of War. Well, like, stream it on your PC or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's on PS Now. If you really want to play it, you can play it on PS Now. And I don't think Craig's going to do that this time. I'd be amazed if Craig buys anything other than more Xboxes for the next 10 years.
Yeah, definitely.
The Series X2 when it comes out.
Content now, especially on Game Pass, that
if
another game didn't come out for like a year, nothing literally came out, you still wouldn't run out of games.
You wouldn't finish Yakuza by then, Craig, let alone
exactly.
Let alone anything else.
Yeah, I feel a bit like you, Dave, but it's like obviously got Series X at the moment, getting like the achievements. It's most probably, even if I had a PS5, like the DualSense is really nice though, but it's like wherever I might play like a Resident Evil Village, obviously Game Pass.
I prefer trophies. I hate to be that guy. That platinum trophy, man, is just, if Xbox had it, it's just there's something about the fact that it separates the DLC lists, okay, and the fact that there is a dedicated completion trophy that pushes me further. I don't know why. It just does. Like, I've completed so many more games on PlayStation than I have on Xbox.
I'm missing one achievement on Medium. Can't people to go back and get it?
Yeah, it's that extra, that tiny little carrot that if there was like on your account, so say Craig's account, it had his gamer score and then it had his completed games like on your account on the dashboard. You haven't got to go into like true achievements or whatever. I think that tiny little incentive might be better. They could still add that. They could totally still add that. But I know that's Craig's just looking at us like we're losers for like.
Yeah, I cannot see them changing their achievement system.
No, I can't either. I think they need to.
So in place.
I think they need to. I think PlayStation have changed theirs to closer mimic Xbox, which is like, so the new PlayStation level system is way more like gamer score than their previous leveling system, but they've obviously still kept the trophies, which is the most important thing. So it's entirely preference. It doesn't matter. It does not matter, which is great.
But for me, like if I when I get another PS5, it's gonna just be for the big like 4 or 5 Sony exclusives a year. So like everything else will be like Xbox, and like same like I said with like Switch, it's gonna be for the big Nintendo games.
I'm just gonna stop buying Switch games because I don't play them. I just need to stop buying them. I cancelled Mario, I cancelled Strikers, I cancelled everything I've got coming for Nintendo. I've just cancelled because I just don't play them. The only things I play on the Switch are handheld RPGs. I'll buy Pokemon, I'll beat it in a week, and I'll be happy with it. But
I think we learned in the backlog episode that kind of trendy Japanese games on the Switch or PlayStation, kind of ones that you guys tend to pick up, and then
it's because the problem with them is, right, this is turning into a different conversation, but the problem with the trendy Japanese games is they're always good games, but they're always long, and that is the problem. And it's like, so like Persona 5 Royal, I'm really enjoying it. About 22 hours in, that is 1/5 of the way through the game. And in the current world that I live in, where I work 40 to 60 hour weeks, and I come home from work and I don't want to get a guide out and be like, what the fuck am I doing now? I just want to, Dirt was the best one, because Dirt was, here's a race, you haven't got to drive to the race, you just pick a race from a menu, do the race. For me, that is the perfect game. And this is the problem with the RPGs, because obviously I used to love Final Fantasy, and I used to love Persona, and I used to love Heroes of Trails or whatever, and all this stuff, and it's like, I ain't got time to sit here, Craig, and get a guide out because I need to talk to Makoto on a certain day to get this certain thing to unlock.
Everyone wants to talk to Makoto.
And it's like, I just can't consume content, and that's where stuff like Game Pass is great.
You're actually kind of right, because I've started Tilia Rise. I've played like 4 or 5 hours now on Switch, and I just continue playing Immortals Phoenix Rising. I think the lack of trophy and achievement system also has.
On Switch, that for people like us that have so many choices, I think that does hurt. I mean, for me,
nothing to keep you like in the ecosystem.
Like I like working towards a trophy or an achievement, and that's the thing with like say Game Pass now having stuff like Dragon Quest, having stuff like Final Fantasy. I think that makes it more likely that you'll play them, because you can just be like, well, actually, I'm not spending 40 quid to add it to my backlog. If I want to play, say, for Dragon Quest 11, it's one of the best JRPGs that's come out in the last 10 years, right? It's one of the highest reviewed, most loved games. The fact that I could just play it on Game Pass, and if I like it, keep playing it, and be completely guilt-free when I drop it, because I haven't paid £40 for it to sit on a shelf. You know what I mean? I think that helps. And again, for people like Craig, who's never played, apart from Ni no Kuni, weirdly, those type of games, like if he wanted to pick up JRPG to try it out, he's not going to be like, oh fuck, I need to spend 40 quid on it. I was
sort of like saying like most first party and stuff, and obviously indies and stuff come to the Game Pass is like only going to be like on the PS5. It's just going to be Ratchet, God of War, Final Fantasy 16. On Switch it's going to be like Rise, new Pokemon Snap, even though that's actually going to be short and that's not that. It's going to be like just those sort of games I'm picking up on those sort of consoles. Like,
yeah, I think it's a better way to do it. I think, obviously we're never going to be, me and you are never going to be Craig, who's the Mr. Frugal and buys one game a year or whatever. But like it's easier now to be like, you know what, I am going to pick up old game A, or I am going to just go, right, it's on Game Pass, so it's on a sale, or it's on PS Plus or whatever. So I don't think we're gonna run out of stuff to play, Chris, anytime soon. As much as I know we'll still end up buying PS3 games, and you'll spend 90 quid on a PSP game or something. But
yeah.
Anyway, I suppose absolutely that conversation is ended. The question I've got for you both is, what are you playing next? Because we seem to both all kind of be at the end of stuff. Obviously, Craig's just started Jedi Fallen Order, which is obviously the news that I want to hear, because I want you to finish that game and love it. But what's next? If you look at your Game Pass list, Craig, what after Fallen Order, what's the kind of stuff that's tickling the old balls?
See, I don't actually know, because Little Nightmares 2 has just come out. Obviously, Chris has it.
Yeah.
I just played the first one. I was really tempted to actually see if I could get a physical copy of that, like Chris has. But I'm kind of like, seeing the fact that the first one had 3 DLC packets and they were all kind of carried on the story. I don't think you actually saw the whole story unless you played all 3 DLCs. I'm kind of like, well, I'll just wait until.
Like, again, I started it and it feels like it might be a prequel, and I've read or watched a video where something mentions, but it might actually be something from the DLC.
The DLCs, yeah. So I'm kind of like, maybe I'll just wait until
it inevitably comes to Game Pass.
Well, the first one never did today. It came to gold, but
no, it was
or
okay. I think it was Game Pass first, and then it came off, and then went on gold.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll probably wait and see what they do DLC wise with that game, because if they do a, in 6 months' time, if there has been 3 DLCs and they do an Ultimate Edition or something like that, probably better off just to wait, pick that up, play that, and then sell that on. So I probably won't play that next. I've been weirdly tempted to buy Hitman 3, which is a statement I never thought I'd be saying. But
did you pick up Hitman 1 when it was on gold?
Oh god, no. Just listening to like Randall 4, because he's been playing it a lot.
Yeah,
it's kind of really got me intrigued to want to play that game. So that might be next. We'll see.
I would love to watch a stream if you play that game. I'd love to.
It will probably depend when I finish Jedi Fallen Order and what's on Game Pass at the time. If it's next month and they're like, oh, March, we're adding, if they add Observer, for example, then it'd probably be that. If they add Yakuza soon, like a Dragon, maybe I'll give that a go on Game Pass. It would depend when I finish it. It's curious to me
that Like a Dragon is the Yakuza game you want to play, because it's the least gameplay-wise, it's the least Craig of all of them.
Yes, but it's in English.
Judgment's the one you want.
Yes.
That's been dated now. It's 23rd of April.
Nice. It's on. Is it a free upgrade?
No.
Because it's on sale on PS4 at the minute for like 12 quid, and I was like,
no free.
Yeah, that's why they've re-released it, haven't they? Because
that's a shame.
It's a full price game,
and there's no Xbox One version either. So
yeah, it's just Series X.
It's what I feel they're going to do with Final Fantasy VII.
They've totally got a deal going with Sega somewhere.
It's gonna skip Xbox One, but is Final Fantasy remake remastered on Series X?
Yep.
Okay, it's still a PS4. It's
I'll buy that game again.
But it's the next gen.
I'll buy it again.
Yeah,
I'll buy it again if it comes to PS5. Let alone if it comes to fucking Xbox.
Yeah, same here. Next for me is Little Nightmares 2. Like I said, I've only done 1 chapter so far. I don't know how many chapters it is. I don't think there's many, because I see Maka put some guides up and stuff like that.
Maka's guides.
And he finished it quite quickly from what I got from Trilogy.
First one was really short, wasn't it? It was like 3 or 4 hours long.
I think it's double the length, but still only makes it 5 or 6 hours. Because he Maka started Little Nightmares, and then 2 days later, Maka finished 1,000 G days. I guess that's what. I don't know what I'm going to play after it. If I'm going to continue on with Control. We'll play that again. Or start something like Mafia, the HD one. I guess it takes how long it takes me to finish Little Nightmares, because obviously I have Persona 5 Strikers and Bravely Default both pre-ordered.
So, and you still have Atelier to finish and whatever else.
Yeah, so obviously I don't know if that, I don't think they'll be here by it's 23rd, so I don't know what next Sunday is, what date is.
Next Sunday will be the 21st, Chris, because it's 7 days on from today.
So those, So
this is the endless ballad of Chris Mengele, though, isn't it? This is the endless games just arriving non-stop with him scrambling.
It's like my girlfriend with books. It's just like, what? What's how many this week?
Yeah. So for this week it's mostly going to be Little Nightmares 2, and then the following week will be Persona, most probably. But we will see.
I love it. Well, for me, it's going to be, I'm going to try Cyberpunk this week and see how I get on. See if I enjoy it. If I don't enjoy it, then it'll be something else. I am, like I said, I'm not buying anything dramatic at the minute. I'm trying to just get through some stuff that I've got on the shelf. I think I kind of want to play Avengers. We'll see what gets announced on Tuesday. If the
Hawkeye has been, I had the PR thing with Hawkeye's definitely been. I think he's coming the 16th of February.
Yeah, the PS5 trophies have dropped. So if it's a PS5 edition is also out on Tuesday, I suspect I will install and play that, because I've had that game on the shelf for a little while and I do really want to play it, because it looks kind of dumb fun, and I kind of just want to play a dumb fun game. As for the kind of stuff on Xbox, I've been tempted to start up the Zodiac Age, but we'll see. Because I didn't like 12 when I played it originally anyway, but nothing Craig likes
the
more
big
than
Game
me.
Pass game, the big Final Fantasy one.
Yeah, it's the one that's just come out. It's a very strange Final Fantasy game. It's not
as plays like an MMO.
Yeah, it's not as turn-based as I would like. But the world is very interesting.
On Final Fantasy, they just showed the new expansion for 14 Endwalker or something like that's called. And there's actually a dedicated PS5 version. I'm pretty sure, didn't they say there was an Xbox version coming?
It's been rumoured for ages. Phil Spencer has been personally working on it for ages, I believe, because he loves that game.
Because that was originally going to be crossplay to begin with, and Xbox didn't want to do crossplay, and now it's like...
no, it's the other way around, and Sony don't want to do it.
the other way around. And it's like... Because it's a game I've always sort of wanted to play.
You will never play it and don't play it. It's an MMO that's 400, 500, 600 hours long that you need a subscription for beyond the first bit. Don't even pretend that you're going to play it, Chris, because it's not something you will play. It's not something I like. Final Fantasy. It's not something I'm going to play. Just being honest. If there's a game like that you want to play, there's Borderlands, there's Avengers, there's The Division, there's Fallout 76 is apparently really good now. There's games like that you're more likely to get something out of, that you could probably finish the campaign in 20 hours. We all know how you play games, Chris. So let's just not pretend. Don't do it. Don't waste your money.
I just saw the trailer and I was like, I wish this was on Xbox. I would definitely give this a go.
Yeah, Xbox.
I thought that was a Final Fantasy 16 trailer when I saw that.
It's the same art guy. Yeah, it's the same art style and stuff. So it's going to kind of feel like
number 3.
Nice, catchy name. It's going to feel like a sequel to it, which is cool. Final Fantasy 14 is great, but again, I ain't gonna play it. You ain't gonna play it. Craig ain't gonna play it. It's not. It's too much. It's far too much. There's some Game Pass stuff I want to try. I will say there's some stuff I still kind of want to try. The Beyond Light expansion for Destiny. Because whenever we've played it, we've quite enjoyed Destiny, but it just doesn't stick, does it? That's always our problem with the stuff like that. Obviously, all the Final Fantasy Yakuza stuff is on there. I mean, it's the problem with the Yakuza, I think, is that especially the Zeros and stuff start with hour-long cutscenes, and you don't really get deep into gameplay for 10 hours. If I remember when we tried to review it many years ago, Chris. And obviously, I still kind of want to do Halo 2 on Legendary, Craig. I kind of still want to do it. I know it doesn't ever work for us, but I just feel like the new consoles, maybe they fixed it, Craig. Maybe it's finally fixed. And
it's weird that they fixed the problem we were having, and I think we
There was another problem.
Had a different
There
problem.
was another problem.
I think you got the completion and I didn't, or something weird like that.
We need to do it again, and
we have to play that same mission,
same level we've done 3 times,
so many times. I can't even remember what it's called now, but we've done that mission so many times. It's just
it's the Savo Highway. I might be wrong.
That's it.
But yeah, like I still harbour, wishes to get that done. And yeah, there's so many fucking games, so many games between now and next week. But we will see next week how we go on. I hope Craig finishes Jedi Fallen Order because it's chef's kiss. It's so good, so good. It's the gateway game to those type of combat games. You know what I mean? Like you play
I'm
that
all for it as well. By the way,
you will be. You'll get better. You'll get better, and then when you play Valhalla, you'll realize it's the exact same combat system. And you'll get better at that as well. And then suddenly it's like, maybe I don't know,
because Valhalla's like Odyssey, isn't it? And, I wouldn't say Odyssey's like this.
Valhalla's a lot more like Jedi Fallen Order. Trust me.
Right.
It's a lot more dependent on you parrying and fucking dodging shit, but it feels good. And again, I played with 2 axes. That just might be how I played. Because I'm not a wuss, I'm not playing with shield.
Yeah, I played shield and axe. Is how I played.
That's what a woman would use. 2 axes.
I do play as a woman characters. Yeah.
It's when wasn't Sekiro supposed to come to Game Pass? Isn't that supposed to be a thing? Did they announce that like 6 months ago?
I don't know.
I want to play it, but I ain't paying money to be bad at it. You know what I mean?
No chance of playing that.
Chance. Yeah. One of Chris's games of the year that was. I remember when he bought that.
Yeah.
It's a lesson for Chris to not buy every game. It's Sekiro.
Which he will never learn.
You will never learn, no.
Just don't buy any Souls games. Even I have Demon Souls 5 there somewhere on.
I love, by the way, that I have a PS5 and I don't own any physical games for it. And you don't have a PS5 and you have like 4 or 5 physical games for it.
I got free PS5.
Free physical PS5 games. He doesn't have a PS5. Whereas I've got a PS5. Yeah. Well, I won't have any. I think I was kind of tempted to pick up Devil May Cry because I think it's 20 quid or something for the special edition with all the DLC. The DLC that isn't coming to the old version, which is great. Not till later.
I think that might actually be out now. But
yeah, the Virgil DLC, but you can wait. The only other game I don't know. This is a complete tangent. Have you seen all the shit that's going on PS5, Chris? There's a company that's putting out like Wii games physically on PS5. It's so funny. They're like 20 quid and it's like crappy farming simulators and they look like Facebook games, Craig. It's amazing.
There's one
it's amazing.
where the cover is like this cool like cover like this panda or something. And I thought was going to be like a 3D platform and then I saw a screenshot and it's like, oh.
It's like My Pets and stuff. It's great. Like it's for people like Chris that want to collect for PS5 and they know it. They know that people will buy it. So they're like,
they must have got easy platforms or something as well.
Yeah, I was about to say it's going to be Extillion and okay, so games.
I looked at them and I was like, that's funny. But I want my first physical PS5 game to be something cool. I was very tempted by Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 because I fucking love Tetris, but I was like, do I want my first physical PS5 game to be a £20 puzzle game? Probably not. So
surely you just play Tetris Effect as well if you want to play Tetris.
Yeah, I know. But it's not got Puyo Puyo in it, Craig.
It hasn't got Sonic in it.
It hasn't got guys, but it's fine. It's fine. It will probably be Miles Morales for my birthday. Let's be honest. So this is an hour and 32-minute podcast, half of which was just setting it up. So thank you all for watching this lengthy discussion. It was a good one. We will be joining you next week. I have no idea what the topic of the show is going to be because we don't make it up until about 10 minutes before we start. So, from me, from Craig, from Chris, we will see you on the next episode. Goodbye.
Bye.
Everybody wave.